Good day. Our lecture for this afternoon would be family as a unit of care. Objectives of this lecture would be identifying at-risk families, increasing awareness of the tools and techniques that may be helpful, including the family conference, and understanding how caring for these families can lead to counter-transference, compassion fatigue, and burnout. First, we define the family. A family is whoever the person says his or her family is. This is according to the Canadian Hospice Palliative Care Association. WHO states that an approach that improves the quality of life of patients and their families facing the problem associated with life-threatening illness as the definition. After defining, we have to learn family structure. So, our first structure would be the nuclear family. Members consist of parents and their still dependent children, occupying a separate dwelling not shared with members of the family of origin or orientation of either spouse. They are economically dependent units. Extended family is unilaterally or bilaterally extended, meaning it could come from both or one side of the family only. Includes 3 generations, so this would include your grandmother, your parents, and yourselves. Single-parent family would be children less than 17 years of age living with a single parent, another relative, or non-relative. Results from loss of spouse by death, divorce, separation, or desertion. Or it could be birth of a child out of wedlock, adoption, or a parent working overseas. Blended family would include step-parents and stepchildren. This is usually caused by divorce, annulment, followed by remarriage, and so challenges that families face differ. When illness sets in, who would care for the ill person? Who would contact healthcare providers? Who would be the primary decision makers? And working through their own anticipatory grief. So it could either pull a person towards the family or away from the family. That is either a centrifugal force on family relationships. So family systems theory is the theory of human behavior that views the family as an emotional unit. It uses systems thinking to describe the complex interactions in the unit. It is the nature of a family that its members are intensely connected emotionally. Emotional interdependence evolved to promote cohesiveness and cooperation because families require to protect, shelter, and feed their members. Heightened tension can intensify the processes that promote unity and teamwork, leading to problems. We use the family approach or the palliative approach in family systems. It promotes the family to be whomever the patient identifies to be, and the family as the unit of care. Death and dying should be perceived as a family event. So families contain and interact with many subsystems based on relationships. A change with one of the members of the family will influence the entire system. It is important to understand a family unit's boundaries. And 18 to 35% have poor resilience. And this is characterized by the family's poor communication, minimal teamwork, high levels of conflict, and its higher risk of psychological comorbidities and intense grief. So how do we identify at-risk families? So we have family conferences, a distress thermometer to indicate relationship indices. So this is a scale of 0 to 10, wherein the family member circles the number that best describes how much much distress you have been experiencing in the past week, including today. Inventory of needs, relational checklist, and family jignogram. Some of these tools we will discuss in the later parts of our semester. Family conferences are well documented in ICU literature. It is shown to increase confidence in dealing with issues raised and more care needs met compared with prior. So we could use spike. So this is the most commonly used in Edmonton. We will see it in the next slide. Value family statements, acknowledge emotions, listen and understand patient as a person, and elicit questions. ABCDE, we do advanced preparation, build therapeutic relationships, communicate well, and deal with reaction and encourage emotion. To do spikes, you set up interview, then you perceive the patient, then you invite the patient to tell his statement so that you could know, add knowledge to your patient, and deal with emotions and address with empathy. And then you strategize and summarize. So what is the rationale with using the family systems as an approach? So we could do shared problem solving, education, assessment of family needs, function. But why don't we do this more? Because it's simply time consuming, high cost, and limited availability of experience with family conferences. So cross-cultural communication is an integrated pattern of human knowledge, belief, and behavior. The customary beliefs, social forms, and material traits of a racial, religious, or social group, and the set of shared attitudes, values, goals, and practices that characterizes an institution or an organization. So we could use interpreters as well. This is often underutilized, and the use of these interpreters is associated with increased patient satisfaction, fewer errors, and greater participation by relatives. Compassion fatigue is the cost of caring for others in emotional distress. Burnout is a psychological term that refers to long-term exhaustion and diminished interest in work. Burnout has been assumed to result from chronic occupational stress. Recent trends in dealing with patients is seeing increased anger in the clinical setting. You have been witnesses in your Indian culture that family members sometimes get angry to the doctor. We see younger patients and increased expectations, especially with the advent of telemedicine with this pandemic. And more well-informed patients, it's not a secret that your patient have already consulted with Dr. Google even before they set up an appointment with you. Countertransference is over-empathizing of the staff and unconsciously associating with the patient or family experience. You feel their problems, you share their problems with them, and it is advised that you take a break from time to time to avoid this occurrence. And these are the strategies used in family, dealing with family. Prepare if possible. Bring experienced staff with you. Take time to listen. Reconsider your approach. Modify expectations. Consider limit setting. Ensure the team is on the same page. Avoid splitting. Support the team. And if needed, involve an independent broker. And advice, it is not how you feel, but how you behave. And between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose a response. In a response lies our growth and freedom. Thank you for listening to this lecture. Please subscribe to our PMCH jfsm channel for more lectures on preventive medicine and community health. Thank you.